This is the Nevada Hazard Mitigation Working Group, and we will go to the first item on our agenda, which is call to order.
Lauren Borst for the record. Bill Elliott.
This is President Nevada Hazard Mitigation Working Group.
Why?
The first item on our agenda, which is call to order.
Lauren Borst for the record.
Bill President
Everybody's getting mixed amount of sounds today. That you, Janelle? Can you guys still hear us?
That's clear.
Yeah,
Yes.
now we can hear you, but we couldn't hear before.
Yeah, I can hear you good now. It was pretty garbled at first.
Can you guys still hear us?
That's clear.
We have an echo happening.
Yeah, I can hear you good now. It was pretty garbled at first.
Yeah, it's still a little garbled from the DM side, so.
And there's a major delay too on the audio.
Hi, this is Steve. I keep getting kicked off. I'm sorry.
And there's a major delay too on the audio.
Hi, this is Steve. I keep getting kicked off. I'm sorry.
And there's a major delay too.
It's just going in circles. Is YouTube open and playing the audio back?
That's what it sounds like.
All right, can everybody hear us now without the echo?
Yes,
Sounds good.
much better.
Echo to be determined.
Okay, I think we got it.
Dear Jesus.
All right. Okay, we will go to our first agenda item, which is call to order. Ms. Force,
Lauren Borst for the record. Bill Elliott.
present.
Andrew Trelease.
I'm here.
Stephen Acroft. Eric Antle.
Present.
Salome Barton.
Present.
DT Allen. Tim Hill,
Present.
Sherry Davis,
Here.
Rich Kohler,
Present.
Don Johnson, Don, can you hear us?
She left.
No, she's right here. I can see her.
Oh, okay.
Don, we can't hear you. You could try logging in a different way. We'll skip you for now. Sierra Sampson, Sarah Fickner,
Present.
thank you. Star Albert,
Present.
we have quorum.
We're trying another time. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Don.
Thank you very much, Bill Elliott. For the record, we will close out agenda item 1 and go to agenda item 2, public comment. This is for discussion only. No action may be taken under a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the chair. Comments will not be restricted based on viewpoint. To provide testimony during this period of public comment by telephone, please call at any time after 9:30 a.m. on the day of the meeting by dialing 669-219-2599. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, please enter 202-331-8963 and then press pound. When prompted for a participant ID, please press pound. When asked to provide public comment, please press *6 to unmute your phone and *6 when your comments are completed. Please be advised that the YouTube stream will be between 60 and 90 seconds behind the live meeting, which we just found out. If you would like to present public comment, please call in using the above number to hear the live meeting. Do we have any public comment in Carson City? Do we have any public comment online
Lauren Force for the record. No, we do not.
and any on the phone call?
No, sir.
Okay. Without any public comment, we will close agenda item 2 and go to agenda item 3, approval of minutes. The minutes were from March 18th, 2025. And do we have any questions about the meeting minutes or any comments?
This is Andrew Trelease. I just want to say for the record, if I mentioned during the volcanic presentation that I was happy that Las Vegas was in jeopardy of being hit by a volcano, I did not mean to say that. I would have rather said that I was happy that Las Vegas is not vulnerable to volcanoes. So whether that was a mistake in the minutes or me misspeaking, I would like to just put that on record that I'm happy that Las Vegas is not vulnerable to volcanic activity. Thank you.
I think your sentiment is expressed for us all. Any other public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Andrew Trelease.
I'll
Okay.
motion to approve the minutes with the amendment just suggested.
Have a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Andrew Trelease.
Mr. Trelease. Second.
I know who it was, but for the recording. Is it the
Missed who it was giving the motion.
Did we?
Rich Fuller.
Rich Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Kohler, made the motion. Mr. Charlize made the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We'll close out agenda item number 3 and go to agenda item number 4, review of submitted hazards mitigation grants program post-fire applications. This is for discussion only. So we will start with Southern Nevada Fuel Disruption Study. If you can please give us a short description of what your application says. I believe that's Chief Brett.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. This is Chief Brett Thompson with the Nevada Division of Emergency Management for the record. So the intent of the proposal for this is actually governor directed. It came out of the Homeland Security Commission last meeting, and it was a consequence of the event that occurred in January, in which we had the predominant pipelines that feed the Southern Nevada valleys turned off as a result of a power outage resulting from the Los Angeles fires. In looking at this scenario, what was determined and ordered by the governor was that we initiate a fuels disruption study to analyze the sources of fuel that would be incoming into, or that are incoming into the Las Vegas Valley, as well as the storage capacities and the redistribution capacities within the valley. So if we're looking at not just Las Vegas proper, but the distribution that occurs to Mesquite or to northwestern Arizona. And so the intent is to analyze what comes in, what is storaged, or what is stored, and what potential mitigation measures we could put in place to ensure that our personnel and our citizens in Southern Nevada will be able to endure a longer term outage of fuel. Right now, storage capacities in the valley are limited to several days, depending on where they are in this certain cycle. And so assuming that this consequences of this occur from a power outage, or more likely they occur from a catastrophic earthquake in the Southern California area, the determination was made to put that in front of the mitigation committee for consideration and prioritization of a study to identify mitigating factors that we could do to enhance the capability of the citizens of Southern Nevada to endure a long-term outage of fuels or disruption to the fuel system. Any of your questions?
Bill Elliott, for the record, do we have any questions?
Yeah, this is Andrew Trelease. I didn't receive any package for the application for this. Is that, did I miss that somewhere, or? On the proposal?
The proposals were sent in an email just for our information prior to, we'll be reviewing them now after these presentations, or, in the next.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see this application in the what I got. Maybe I just missed it. So.
This is Brett Thompson, for the record, Chief of DEM. Richard, can you tell me when you guys actually received these applications?
They were sent by Lauren Brost, I think, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, just to have the committee members prepared and, just to know what the proposals were all about. Presumably, I'm kind of new to this commission, but presumably we'll be looking at these after you guys present these and maybe vote sometime and rank them, in the future, but soon.
Okay.
I guess.
I appreciate that. And just so everybody has clear, speaking on behalf of, as the chief of the division, the minimum intent is that these would be in hands of all board members. And this is for all boards and commissions that the division supports a minimum of 2 days beforehand so that committee members can review these. The vote and rank will occur during this public meeting. So that might be challenging if you haven't read them yet, but that is the intent because we do have to do that voting and ranking and prioritization during the public meeting. So thank you. Appreciate it.
And just to be clear, this is Rich again. I did ask when the proposals needed to be reviewed by and was informed that it would occur after this meeting. So that's what I was told.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate the input.
So just a note, we did put all of the information into a Teams folder and shared that with everybody. I think the only person who had, or who indicated they couldn't access that was Solomay, from what I heard.
Yes, and I did receive excellent assistance from Lauren, by sending them in increments, in small dose, small packages via email. So I did receive them.
Any further comments on this proposal? Okay, we'll go to the next proposal, which is Pershing Tri-County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Hi, I'm Carolyn, the emergency manager for Humboldt County, and I'm here to represent the Tri-County Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan, which is Pershing, Lander, and Humboldt. And our application is to start the review and update process. So our application is for funding to assist with employing a contractor for this process. This plan was written before I was the emergency manager, and partway through the Pershing County manager was hired, and before the Lander representative. So we are reviewing this. We've done a review on things that have been completed in process and things that haven't even been started. So we want to make sure that we update the plan to reflect that and any new needs, hazards, or mitigation plans that can be put in place. This plan is due to expire in 2026. So we wanted to start the process now to be ahead of the game. So that's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Do we have any questions? This is Bill Elliott for the record. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, we'll go to UNR Seismo Mobile Fire Cameras and Communications.
Thanks. Good morning. This is William Savner from the Nevada Seismological Laboratory at UNR. Today, I'm going to be talking about our 5% initiative project to build out 5 mobile fire camera units that will be used to provide situational awareness during wildfires and before or during other natural disasters. So just a little background on our lab. So we operate a private communications network that provides real-time data on earthquakes and wildfires right now to emergency managers and first responders. To date, we have about 120 of these permanent mountaintop fire cameras throughout the state, greater Tahoe area and southern Idaho. The camera feeds are publicly available on a few different websites, including the Watch Duty app. However, putting these cameras everywhere is cost prohibitive. And something we learned last year during the Davis fire was that somewhat we impulsively retrofitted an existing cow that we had at the lab, installed a mobile fire camera on it, and deployed it Tuesday night to Steamboat Hill, just near Galena. And that camera was made available to the Nevada Division of Emergency Management, Washoe Division of Emergency Management, and the firefighting agencies. And the camera feed was also integrated into the Watch Duty app. So after the fire, we sort of followed up with everybody and learned that the camera provided a lot of value for both the firefighting efforts and the emergency response efforts, specifically in helping the public understand what's going on and having actual eyes on what's happening when interacting with the public. So this project is going to be requesting that the NSL fabricate 5 of these trailer units. The trailers are similar to the maybe the sheriff's department trailers that you've seen, but they have a much more rugged construction, enabling them to be deployed out in remote areas for significant periods of time. We have prototypes of these that we've already developed, and one's been out for a year with no issues through the winter. And obviously the one that we put out for the Davis fire. The trailers are going to have 2 cameras, one near infrared camera that has 40 times optical zoom. So in clear conditions, it can see 40, 50, 60, 70 miles with good clarity. And then they'll also have a thermal infrared camera, so they'll be able to see through heavy smoke areas. And while we intend their use will be primarily for wildland fires, we also expect they'll be useful for other natural disasters like floods. We've gotten requests for mobile cameras from our local emergency management office to look at floods and other natural disasters like landslides and avalanches. So our intention is to make these cameras available to our local and state partners when the need arises. Are there any questions?
Bill Elliott, for the record, do we have any questions? Okay, we will, hearing none, we'll go to Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Post-Fire Slope Stabilization Project.
Good morning, John McInturf with Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, Wildland, BC, for the record. So we had 5 declared FMAGs throughout the summer of 2024. We have 4 proposed projects under HMGP, fire mitigation and rehabilitation. Starting with the Davis fire, our plan is to help treat the St. James area, install straw wattles where erosion issues could occur from the map of the flood map from the Bear team that was presented to TM. Also, putting in log erosion barriers where straw wattles don't make sense for the same purpose, to slow down and divert water flow. Straw wattles, we're looking to install about 816. Log erosion barriers, looking to install about 686 estimated. And then hazard tree mitigation in the area, looking to reduce the hazard of trees that pose a hazard to public safety and health, 275. These trees are mainly from the Davis Creek area up to St. James, and then somewhat into the Galena Creek Park area. Total costs we're looking at for that project is almost 2.2 million. There is a little bit of urgency behind this one, since it is more of a post-fire grant instead of a fire mitigation grant. So the community of St. James has been doing their due diligence on handling a lot of the hazard trees and dead trees along private property themselves. They spent about $270,000 so far. One of our main focus areas for that grant will be the Browns Creek trailhead. So it's owned by the HOA, but the HOA doesn't have the authority to close the trail to the public because of the hazards the trees have in that area. Some nuances there. So that would be one of our first pieces that we'd tackle to make that trailhead safe again and to keep it open. Moving on to hold on one second.
So the next one is Truckee Meadows Fire Department, Fire Protection District, Sullivan Wildfire Risk Reduction.
Okay, for Sullivan. Sullivan, we are looking at treating about 220 acres throughout the Palomino Valley area. It's fuels mitigation. We would masticate in a mosaic pattern large parcels that are privately owned. So most of those parcels that we'd focus on would be 10 acres into the house. Anything beyond that, if a person owns, we'll say 100 acres out there, we wouldn't treat probably the whole 100 acres. It's more just for home defense and defensible space. We'll have the crews go in there, the individual homes, and do assessments on the residential portion of it, focusing on the zone 0 to zone 2 work for defensible space as outlined in the WUI code. And then, like I said, masticate larger parcels away from the house to reduce the continuity and fuel loading in that area. And then any areas that pose a problem for egress, since a lot of those roads are dirt roads, they're narrow, windy. If we find areas to improve egress and to take the fuel loading off any sharp corners where fire impingement could happen, we'll focus on those areas as well.
Hey, do we have any questions on the Sullivan project? Hearing none, we'll continue on with Truckee Meadows on the Callahan Ranch project.
Okay, Callahan. Let me get that one pulled up for you. Callahan's focusing on a large chunk of ground that's in the Galena area, kind of south of St. James, south of or east of Galena Forest 1 and 2 and Montrose, and then the Callahan area itself. Looking to treat about 86 acres on that parcel. Mainly doing a defensible space around the entirety of the parcel. The parcel sits in between homes, and altogether that parcel is like 300 to 500 acres. So we just want to treat the boundary around there, reducing the fuel loading, maybe doing some timber stand improvement, and giving that buffer if there ever was a fire on that parcel, giving a buffer between that and the homes it lays against.
Any questions about the Callahan Ranch project? Okay, we'll continue on with Truckee Meadows Gold Ranch Fuels Reduction Project.
You said Gold Ranch, correct?
Gold Ranch, yes.
Okay. That one is both fire mitigation and fire rehab. So the Gold Ranch fire burned in the Verdi area. It did impact some of the timber in the area, but the timber is kind of sparse and it's only on north-facing slopes or in drainages. So looking at that area, we probably have about 60 hazard trees that need to be removed that pose risk and issues to the public and public safety, along with the roads out there. We would use those trees, as most of them as LEVs, since they are on a slope, to slow down any erosion that can occur. Most of those slopes, there's roads right underneath that are cut within the banks. So if we can stop any soil moving down onto the roadways by using LEVs, we'll focus those hazard trees on those areas. Along with treating 180 acres of parcels out there. Most of those parcels stand to be about 1 to 2 acres in size. Similar to the Sullivan, the crew would focus on the defensible space from zone 0 to 2. And then if possible, we'd masticate larger parcels out there. And then another component we added into this one is mistletoe removal. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant that attacks a large variety of different trees, but the main ones we would focus on is the mistletoe that has a relationship with the yellow pine family, which includes Jeffreys and Pondos. Mistletoe itself isn't a huge hazard, but it does pose health risk to the forest. It can take away from a tree's vigor and slowly decline it. It also has the potential, since it grows large masses on these trees, that can be amber catches. So if we do have like a ground fire in the area, it's one of the easier ways for fire to move up into the canopy is to get in one of those witch's brooms. So we would go around and focus our areas where we can on saving and enhancing the tree's health of those trees that have minimum to about moderate infection. If they are fully infected, we'd probably look at full removal.
Questions about the Gold Branch Fuels Reduction Project? I do have a question. This is Bill Elliott for the record. What is an LAB?
LAB is a log erosion barrier. So you take a tree, you lay it cross slope, and you make sure the tree lays against the ground itself. So if a tree is sticking up, normally you do a cut in the middle to make sure it's surface level with the ground, and then any water that hits against that tree is slowed down and is dispersed around the log. And then you typically have those offset from each other. So as water is coming down, it offsets going down the slope. So it's not just one direct line coming down and cutting away the slope.
This is Rich Kaler. I also have another question. So is the down tree placed next to where it's fallen from strategically, or is it moved to a more strategic location nearby or dragged or something? Just curious.
Yeah, most of the time we have to just leave in place. So we'll do technical falling to or directive falling to where we want to place the tree where we see it most see the biggest benefit from the stump itself.
Yeah, and then maybe just drag it a tiny bit or reposition it or something so it's perfect.
Yeah, or we can pivot it and get it more downhill. Going uphill is obviously impossible, but if we can see to where we can move it slightly off to the side or more down from the stump, then we will.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions? This is Bill Elliott for the record. And let's make sure that we say that we're for the record, our names for the record, because I just got scolded at. So we'll make sure that we do that for the record. Our next project is City of Sparks Wildland Fire Prevention Project. Goat grazing.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. For the record, Casey Menser, Treatment Plant Manager at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, formerly working for the City of Sparks. So this grant that we're, or I guess what our request is with this grant is to have goats graze a rather large section of our parcel, about 65 acres, that is covered with noxious weeds, generally referred to as white top, in our particular case. And this is, on our parcel, which is adjacent to the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, we're viewed as a critical infrastructure within the Washoe County Hazard Mitigation Plan. We serve the lion's share of the Reno-Sparks metropolitan region for wastewater treatment. So we are kind of the last line of defense in terms of environmental and public health protection with it, when it comes to the treatment of the city's wastewater. We process approximately 30 million gallons per day. And so the continuity of our operation is critical. If we are down for longer than 3 to 4 hours, then you will have manholes that are blowing out into the city, and you will have raw sewage that pours directly, into the streets and into the Truckee River. And so providing that continuity of operation, for us, means adding as much resiliency as we can. And so this portion of our property contains just this massive overgrowth of these weeds, and it is where our main power feed to the facility comes into. And so if we have a significant fire event, then we could have significant interruptions to our power. And like I just said, 3 to 4 hours of that power interruption can mean significant and catastrophic things to the region and all the downstream stakeholders. So we're looking at mobilizing goats over a period of 3 years, Spanish goats, to then graze the white top and reduce it. It is my understanding that as the goats consume the white top, all of the seeds become effectively inactivated during their digestion process. And so there's not that issue with regrowth of these weeds with the seeds as they pass through the goats. And so that is what we are requesting. I will say that we had a fire in this field last year, actually. And just in my time being at the facility, which has been 10 years, I have seen 3 fires that have been in or very close to, adjacent to this portion of our property. And so we would like to mitigate the risk to the facility and to the region by eliminating this as a fire hazard. So with that, I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
Ms. Bill Elliott, for the record, do we have any questions?
This is Sherry Davis for the record. I just have a quick question based on the numbers. The synopsis that I got said the total project was 403,936, but then the body of the synopsis says the total project cost is 397,215. And I just want to make sure, like, as I'm scoring it for that whole matching the full 25% thing, I want to make sure I'm using the right number.
Yes, 397,215 is the correct number. I apologize for the typo in the staff report.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ms. Bill Elliott, for the record, any more questions?
Hi, quick questions. It's Salome Barton for the record. And mine is, literally just for my understanding is, so are these wild goats? Is the grant gonna purchase the goats, or are the goats gonna come from farmers, community members that are farm community owned?
Yes, so with this particular project, there's grazers that we can utilize that often they have their own stock or fleet, I guess. I don't know exactly the proper term of these goats. And so then they're able to deploy them to different areas. And so we actually have at least one local vendor or contractor. I'm not exactly sure the proper term for that, but they would come out, they would mobilize, they would set up their restrictive fencing area, and then they would have a person on site to oversee their herd. And then over a period of 5 months, they would clear out this entire area and then move on to the next place, and then come back for the same type of grazing activity in the following 2 years.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Bill Elliott, for the record, do we have any further comments or questions? Okay, we will go to Douglas County Topaz Lake Drainage Improvement Project.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Courtney Walker, Douglas County, for the record. I'm here to discuss our application, which is the Topaz Lake Drainage Improvement Project. And we, in 2015, did a drainage study for the Topaz Lake area. There's a series of drainage issues that occur out there. It's a relatively steep area, and it all drains downhill to Topaz Lake. There's various flooding issues. We've had mudslides in the area post-fire. And so when we did the drainage study, it was to figure out how to best move the water from the top of the developed area down to Topaz Lake without causing property damage, street flooding. There's a lot of maintenance issues post storm events that need to occur, and it's quite a distance from our maintenance yards, about 35-minute drive. And so the drainage study essentially showed a pretty easy fix of installing several culverts under roads, improving roadside ditches, removing some of the encroachment into the right-of-way from private properties. And so the map basically designates the sizing and the material of each new culvert installation. It's a relatively large project, so we would want to use a contractor to do it. We have in-house done a couple of the easier ones to pick off that were causing some property damage from them not being there. But we'd like to knock it out and get all of these drainage improvements in at once. The total project cost is $327,240. And then obviously the match portion by the county would be 81,810, with the requested federal share being 245,430. So it's a pretty straightforward project down in the Topaz Lake area. If anyone has any questions, the exhibit shows the conceptual design where all the culverts would be placed and the sizing and all the locations.
Bill Elliott for the record. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, this is Andrew Trelease for the record. I was wondering, I think from your report, I saw that the culverts were being sized for the 25-year event. Is that correct?
It is. That's the county standard, the design storm that we require any new development to go to. So mostly existing improvements are designed to that as well.
Thank you.
This is Bill Elliott for the record. Does this also include Topaz Ranch Estates, or is it just the Walker Lake or the Topaz Lake area?
It's just the Topaz Lake area. Thank you for the question. The Topaz Ranch Estates is actually within a general improvement district, and so Douglas County that isn't required for to make the improvements in that neighborhood. Not that they don't need to be made there.
Very much. Any further questions? Okay, our final project is Moapa Valley Fire Protection District, Clark County Fire Muddy River Sustainable Hazard Impact and Environmental Landscape Defense, or SHIELD.
Good morning. My name is Steve McClintock, and I'm sitting in for Fire Chief Neal today on the Muddy River SHIELD Moapa Valley Fire District. Short project summary is this is to reduce wildfire risk and avoid escalating emergency costs in the high fire risk communities of Moapa, Logandale, Overton, and the Moapa Band of Paiute Indians Reservation in Clark County. The Moapa Valley Fire District proposes the Muddy River SHIELD, which is Sustainable Hazard Impact and Ecological Landscape Defense, a 36-month, two-phase fuels reduction program designed to address decades of overgrowth and growing fire threats. SHIELD focuses on areas within a 2-mile radius around 425 occupied structures located along a 17-mile stretch of the densely vegetated lower Muddy River. It's going to cover 250 acres of vulnerable wildland urban interface. The program will ultimately provide 100 feet of defensible space per structure. So it'd be 100 feet of defensible space around each structure. So phase one would be requesting funding now includes detailed mapping, vulnerability assessment, professional technical input, and community engagement to inform a 24-month implementation plan. We request HMGP funding for only 50% of the project cost, totaling $197,115 in federal costs and $197,115 in operational costs and the $19,710 in management costs. The remaining 50% will be provided through fire district resources. Then we'll go into phase two, for which we are continuously seeking funding, applies to targeted treatments, mechanical thinning, biomass recycling, erosion control, and habitat restoration, while educating property owners and securing long-term maintenance agreements. By reducing hazardous vegetation by 85%, SHIELD lowers wildfire intensity and spread, preventing costly damage to homes, infrastructure, and natural resources. These pre-fire investments significantly reduce the need for large-scale suppression and disaster recovery. Shield delivers long-term physical benefit by cutting response costs, protecting lives and livelihoods, safeguarding the region's most critical assets from imminent wildland-urban interface fire threats. I'm not sure how far you want me to go in this. I have some talking points. Did you want me to go over that? I'm sorry, this is my first time doing this.
This is Bill Elliott for the record. You can mention your talking points, but I think we get the gist of the project. But if you want to add some talking points, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, I'll just go over real quick. I don't want to waste a lot of your time. I know everybody's got a lot of important things to be doing. To mitigate this, the summary for the executive summary is to mitigate risk of wildfire and address decades of neglect and overgrowth within the high fire risk communities of Moapa, Logandale, Overton, and the Moapa Band of Paiute Indians. Reducing vegetation by 85% will ultimately reduce wildfire intensity and spread, and it'll prevent costly damage to homes, infrastructure, and natural resources. Along with that, it probably would possibly, there's a good chance if we do all the fuels reduction around the homes, that it's will help the homeowners with their insurance, which we all know right now is a big thing. With that all being said, unless somebody has questions, I'll just leave that go. It'll encumber about 250 acres is what it would do. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer them. Otherwise, I appreciate you listening.
Bill Elliott for the record. Do we have any questions? Hearing none.
Thank you very much.
We'll close out. Oh, Brett,
And-
go ahead, Brett.
Hey team, Brett Compson, Chief of Division of Emergency Management for the record. This is not a question in regards to the last presentation, which was excellent, by the way, and thank you. This is an awareness for the ranking members of this commission. While the presentations were occurring, I did review the fuels analysis application, and I needed to share in a public forum that we, the division, failed to meet guidance that I issued to update the application. So I wanted to provide some accurate data before you do your ranking and voting. So for the fuels disruption analysis project, it is not simply a Clark County planner application. It is a joint venture between the state, the Division of Emergency Management, and Clark County, and is a governor-directed task. The project is referred to as the Southern Nevada Fuel Disruption Analysis, not the Southern Nevada Fuel Fire Disruption Plan. The analysis will cover all areas in Southern Nevada, Northwest Arizona, and Southwest Utah that receive fuel redistribution from the Las Vegas area. The timeline will be shortened to 18 months. It is not 36 months. And the state, in conjunction with Clark County, will fund the 25% match. It will not be 100% funded by Clark County. Needed to put that on the record for everybody so that you can consider that as you do your ranking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brett. We'll close out agenda item number 4 and go to agenda item number 5, ranking hazard mitigation grant program post-fire applications. Now, are you going to share this? Go ahead and share this. Looking at the amounts that have been requested and the amounts that we have. Hold on just a second. So looking at our total request, $6,636,471. What we have available is $6,567,000 or $87,000, $87,410. So that's a difference of $69,061.54. So are there any projects that would like to or would be willing to change their project so that all of the projects can be funded? Yeah.
This is John McInturf, Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District for the record. TM would be willing to downsize the Sullivan project by that 69,000 to accommodate.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll turn it over to Janelle for the ranking of the hazards mitigation applications.
Okay, so let me push this back up for a moment. Janelle Woodward for the record. I have at the top here the total, it shows the total of the $6,567,410. That's what's allocated to us for these FMAGs. The projects, so FEMA takes and divides out the funding, although I will say that if we didn't have planning or 5%, all of the funding could be used for projects. So it just depends on what they're saying is for a planning type application, you can only spend up to $459,719. And the same is for 5% initiative. And 5% initiative projects are projects that are allowable, but they're very difficult to determine a benefit cost ratio. So they put those into that category, which would be something like a warning system or the cameras that we had for UNR, those types of projects. So those are those show the maximum that we could spend on those types of projects. And then you can see that I color coded the light blue for the 7% planning and the green, light green for 5% initiative. And if we look down at the project list, I have the agency and the name of the project. And then it breaks it up into the federal share, the non-federal share, cost share, the total project cost, and then list management costs for the subrecipient separate. The management costs are a separate bucket of funding. I'm sorry, they can't see your screen. They can't. That's weird. Let me stop and reshare. Are you able to see the screen now? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies, I couldn't tell on this.
We can't see Andrew Trelease for the record. We can't see the whole list. We can see like the first.
Yeah, because I
Seven.
enlarged it. Do you want me to make it smaller or let me see here. Is this enough of it? What I have next to it is just notes, and then it divides out the planning and the 5%. Which the planning one would be the Tri-County HMP update, and the first phase 1 of the Muddy River Shield project. And then also the Southern Nevada fuel, I'm sorry, I didn't get what you called that fuel.
Fuel disruption study.
Well, yeah, the fuel disruption study is also a planning event. So those are 3. And I will show you this down here, where we have out the 5% initiative and the 7% planning, and gives the total amounts available for those categories. And then the project, what I put in chosen to fund would be the projects, and then the remaining funding from those categories would go into projects. So the last line for projects shows 5,804,843, which includes the leftover funding from those other 2 portions. And then as Chief McInturf showed or mentioned, he would be willing to cut his one of the projects by the 69,000. So we would be able to put every one of these, fund every one of these. What we need to do is just put them in order of the committee's ranking. And so, maybe, does that help you that you see everything now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see the whole
Okay.
screen.
And so I will reduce the number on you said the Sullivan project. So I'll reduce the numbers. But what we then want to do is use the ranking form. Did everybody get the ranking form?
I believe so. I believe Brett Taylor on Truckee Meadows side received that.
Okay, so all the members of the committee, did you all receive the ranking form?
This is Solomon Barton for the record. Yes, received.
Okay, was there anybody who didn't receive it? I guess that was the better question. My apologies. Okay, so hearing nobody speaking up on that, our next task would be to go through and rank these projects. I don't know if you want to have discussion amongst yourself, or I mean amongst each other, or not, but the ranking form would be utilized for this process. And you need a separate ranking form for each of these projects because we need to keep a record of that. And so later on after the meeting, I will ask everybody to please take a moment and scan those if you can, and then send them to me or Lauren, either way. Do you want me to go through, maybe I should go through the form.
Hey, Janelle, this is Sam. Are you going to go through the process of ranking real quick and then explain to everybody that they're going to verbally list their rank?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Samantha Laddick from the Attorney General's office, for the record.
Okay, are you able to see the ranking form on here? Yes, okay, I saw a nodded head. Okay, so the form at the top has you, put your name in there. What the applicant is, where the applicant, what the sub-applicant is, the total score after you do this, and figuring this out. And this one looks like it's different from the one I gave. But you guys all have the formal one. So it goes through project type, and you can pick through there and you give the points. The possible points are 25 and then 20 for those last two. And you pick what you want to put in there, what you feel each applicant's numbers are. And then we'll, you know, you want to add up that total max there. And then you move on to the site vulnerability that goes through, is this a sound mitigation project? Does it reduce, you know, the hazard effects? Do they have the capacity to finish that project within the time frame? Best solution to address the risk. Project provides loss reduction. Then you add those up. Project benefits, you know, as far as protecting life and property. Projects critical of, or protects critical infrastructure and benefits the community. Relates to local and state mitigation plans. And then project provides a long-term solution. And then there's other considerations to go through. In that section, it has a max of 16 points. There, in the final form that this one is in, I took from Teams, but it is, looks like a repeat of an old one. I had added 10 point, up to 10 points for giving this a higher, you know, kind of a bonus for infrastructure. And that allows you to, you know, rate one a little bit higher because it's got more critical infrastructure coverage. And then we'll add those points up on each of the 10 applications. And finally, what we'll do is I'm gonna stop sharing that and I'll go back to the.
Hey, Janelle.
Yes.
This is Eric Antel for the record. Sorry, Janelle, I didn't realize that you didn't want us to work on this form, so I had modified that form. I was filling it out in Teams, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. I was thinking that we grabbed an incorrect form. So that was the form, but it was filled, that one was filled out by Eric. So what you would do is take that form if you have a copy. I think it was emailed as well as it was available in Teams. And then, you know, we'll go through one for each of the applications and you will add up your points for each of the applications. And then we will go back to, this spreadsheet here. Yeah, let me see here. We'll go back to this spreadsheet and what we will do for the scoring, once you have them, we will, so if you see this page, what I'm going to do is call on one person, one at a time, and we'll go down the list and you'll give me your total points for each of these different, projects. And then we'll go across, get everybody's input, and that'll automatically add that up. And then we'll sort it, largest number to smallest, to give the 1 through 10 ranking, and that'll give us the ranking. Are there any questions on that? I know it can sound confusing sometimes.
So this is Sherry Davis for the record. So I already scored them and then I adjusted them as everybody was talking, as I got some of the questions that I had answered. But perhaps in the interest of everybody's time and just utilizing that efficiently, maybe next time we do this, maybe this is better at the end of the meeting, but next time we do this, maybe it makes sense to go through this at the very beginning. That way people can score as everybody is talking, and then we just do our scores. Because this seems like it's going to add like half an hour, and I'm traveling, so yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to be out of service because I can't be late for my event today. So I'm just a little nervous on time.
Okay, we can, if people have them completed, I could take them now. Is that okay, Sam?
Hey, Samantha Ladd for the record. Yeah, if people are ready, that's fine. I just want to make sure that everybody has the time to do theirs. So we may have to wait longer for others. So yes, but that's okay if some are ready now.
Yeah, this is Rich Kaler for the record, and I'm new to this working group as well. So I was not aware that the forms needed to be completely filled out today. I thought we were going to have discussion and presentations. And so I would have to either abstain now, or I can get them to you later. You could fill in this form with my scores later because I've already reviewed all the proposals and sort of generally ranked them, but I haven't gone through the formal scoring. So, and then the other question I had is also usually in all the panels I've been involved in before for grant reviews, the applicants were not present for the scoring process. And so that's different here with this working group, but just a comment. And that's for the record, Rich Kaler.
Samantha Laddick from the Attorney General's office. Everything done in this meeting is public record. So it'll not only will it be the scores be visual to people that have projects, but they'll also be in the record, permanent record of the meeting. As far as getting your rankings later, that's not going to work given the fact that it's an open meeting law compliant meeting, because we're going to have to take a vote at the end of the rankings today before we close out the meeting. So rankings would have to be in before we take the vote in order to use them for the outcome. Thank you.
Okay, understood. Rich Kaler for the record, and I may have to abstain if that's the case. Unless you think there's another way to go forward. But.
Sarah Fickner for the record, in a similar boat as Richard, I would have to abstain today.
We can get that the last person. Sarah?
I apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sarah Fickner, in a similar boat as Richard, I would need to abstain today. My apologies.
Okay, Andrew, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, Andrew Trelease for the record. I was just curious because the ranking form is really set up for projects, and we're ranking 3 plans in this evaluation. Are we supposed to kind of treat the plans as a project? In the past, I know we've kind of treated plans differently than projects in our ranking system. Are we going to rank them separately, or are they all going to be in the same group together?
Yeah, I would, let's just do them in the same group for what they're doing. And these would be, all hazard projects. All 3 of them, because the hazard mitigation plan is all hazards. So would be the fuel project would also be that, because it can be affected by any hazard, natural hazard. And then, of course, the other Muddy River project they're doing, that's a very large project, and they chose to go down to phase 1, which was the planning and organizing everything portion of it.
Yeah, Andrew's release for the record, it just doesn't seem like a lot of these questions are relevant to a plan, you know.
Right.
Project reduces hazard effects, project is sound mitigation, project provides loss reduction. I mean, it's a plan. So
Well,
I
it is
don't
a plan, but it still would reduce.
the
I
plan
think for
doesn't.
this time, this is the same form we've used the last several times that we've ranked plans or ranked projects.
Hi, this is Salome Barton for the record, just to provide some insight on how we see plans when we actually put them together is the fact that we are trying to plan in order to mitigate and you know in prevention, mitigation, all the 5 steps emergency management need to be included in those plans so that you're able to meet the needs of the community. And my understanding is that yes, mitigation is part of the planning process. So and every single one of those plans that are provided are would support any kind of rather than need to mitigate, prevent, and recover, do all the in response projects and all that stuff. So I do agree with Janelle that the plans do meet these projects.
And Andrew, we can talk about changing the form, you know, and questions and make some changes to that in the future. Yeah, so by the next time we do it, you know, we can change that form to, you know, that's something the committee can weigh in on making changes to the form. So happy to do that after this time.
Okay, Andrew Trilly for the record. I did want to ask, some of the applicants didn't have a BCA. Are we to assume all of them are over 1? The ones that didn't have a BCA on there?
I'm sorry, say that again?
It seems some of the applications, the proposals didn't have a calculated BCA that I could find. And are we to assume that they're all the projects meet the BCA of 1 or more?
I believe so. The Truckee Meadow Fire Protection District projects all were utilizing the calculation that that FEMA allows, that predetermined cost times the acres and that. So that theirs all did. I think the goat grazing had that. Nevada Seismological Laboratory, the camera project didn't need that either because it was in the 5%, but they did do the questionnaire that FEMA requires for cost effectiveness, which is answering 5 questions, and then FEMA determines that. And then the planning grants did not require that.
Okay, any further questions for the record? Why don't we take, what, 1 minute? Or how long do you think we should take? Let's say 20 minutes, and we will come back for our rankings.
And if, Sherry, if you need to give me your numbers now, that's fine. I can take those from you.
Okay, I do have them. I'm just worried about, because I still have to vote, right? Because we don't have a quorum. But at least I can look at them right now before I start driving again and give them to you. That would actually be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Before you do that, let me just clarify. We still have quorum. Is that correct, Lauren?
Lauren Boris, yes, we still have quorum. Sharon.
And even if Miss Davis leaves, we'll still have quorum, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to just give them to me one at a time, or you want me to call them to you and ask?
I can give them to you because I've got them all written down on one page, so I can transfer them to several later on, but at least I
Okay.
can give you these now. So for the Tri-County one,
Okay,
I have 127.
okay,
For slope stabilization, I have 136. For Moapa Valley Shield, I have 140. For Douglas County Stone, oh, sorry.
sorry.
Oh, sure.
140, you said?
Yes.
Okay,
For Douglas County, I have 140.
okay,
For those multi-hazard cameras, which is so cool, by the way, I have 137. Oh, no, wait, I lied. Let me look again. I'm sorry. Oh, let me pull out a piece of paper, make sure I got these right. Okay, so I said the Tri-County one was 127, the slope one was 136, Moapa Valley was 140, Douglas County was 140. Okay, I did have that right. The seismological cool cameras, 137. The Sparks goat thing, also super cool, 138. Gold Ranch, 138. Sullivan, 138. Callahan, 137. And the Clark County one, I got 106, but I do think that's sort of indicative of scoring it as a, I don't know. It was just it's so hard to make these things fit all of the possibilities, so we have the same issue with CDBG and some of the grants that I do too, to make the rubric fit everything. So
Sherry, what was that final one again for Clark County?
Sorry,
Nevada?
I apologize. 106.
Okay. Let's see, agency. Sure.
Sherry, would you look at the screen? I believe you can see that still, and just verify that the numbers on the screen align with the numbers that you just gave, just to make sure that we got them in the correct spots.
Okay, I will try. I am on a tiny phone. Pershing, 127. Slope, 136. Sullivan. Yeah, perfect. You got them perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, and that's
Thank you,
officially
Sherry.
for the record.
Thank you. What do you think? What does the group think? 15 minutes or 20 minutes? We just went through about 5 minutes. So let's go 15 minutes and we will be back.
Hey, Bill, we're not gonna leave the meeting, just sorry
We're
to
not going to leave the meeting, but
Yeah.
we'll give you this period of time, approximately 15 minutes. So go ahead and give your rankings and we will start again. Not leaving the meeting. let's go ahead. All right, this is Bill Elliott for the record. Does anybody need any more time? Go ahead and raise your hand if you need any more time. Okay, Eric, we'll wait another 5 more minutes, okay? Or do you need any further time?
No, 5 minutes should be fine. Thanks, Bill.
Okay. Okay, this is Bill Elliott for the record. We will continue with our ranking. So go to Janelle.
Okay, Janelle Woodward for the record. Eric, you're first on my list. Are you ready or not?
Hey, Janelle, Eric Cantel for the record. I'm ready.
Okay, Pershing.
Let me get my stuff here straight. Hold on.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. For the record, I scored Pershing 131.
Okay. Truckee Meadows slope stabilization.
Okay. For the record, 139.
Okay, Moapa Valley Muddy River Shield project.
139.
Then Douglas County's project.
141. I'm generous today, everyone, for the record.
So Seismolab multi-hazard cameras.
141.
City of Sparks goat grazing.
141.
Okay, not supposed to give everybody the same score.
It's difficult for me because all of these touch my area of subject matter experts with fires.
Sure, sure.
I have a biased feel.
Yeah. Truckee Meadows Gold Ranch.
139.
And then Sullivan.
That's the
Truckee
same.
Meadows. Okay.
And the same for Callahan.
And then the Southern Nevada fuel study or analysis.
131.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Star, are you ready?
Hey, Lauren Borst for the record. Hey, Sam. With Star having dropped off at some point, I would recommend we call to just confirm quorum again before we continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize anybody else had left. That's a good idea.
Neither had I. All right, Bill Elliott.
Present.
Andrew Trelease.
Present.
Stephen Acroft. Eric Antle.
Present.
Salome Barton.
Present.
DT Allen. Tim Hill. Sherry Davis.
Present.
Thank you, Sherry. Rich Kohler.
Present.
John Johnson. John, we can't hear you. Can you try again, please? Don Johnson.
Present.
Thank you, ma'am. Sierra Sampson. Sarah Fickner.
Present.
Thank you. Star Albert. We still have quorum.
You didn't leave. Andrew? You see it though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So moving on, since we still have quorum, Salome, can you give me yours?
Absolutely. This is Salome Barton for the record, and it's 132 for Pershing.
Okay.
134 slope stabilization. 135, Moapa.
Hold on just a second.
Okay, sorry. So it's 134 for steep slope.
What was the second one? Can we go back? I had a little technical.
Yeah, 134,
Okay,
135,
okay,
136, 132, 136, 135, 135, 135, and 133.
132,
133.
3. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Sarah, did you rank or did you skip?
I abstained today. Again, my
Okay.
apologies.
Dawn,
All right, hopefully you can hear me now, okay?
yes.
Okay, so we've got the first one, 139. Next, 131. 133. 133. 133. 134. 136. 136. 136. And 120.
Thank you very much. Rich, were you abstaining as well?
Yep. I
Okay,
apologize. I'm learning this process. So yeah.
okay,
Abstain.
so then we'll go to Andrew Treeley's.
Okay, Pershing 115. Slope stabilization 130. Moapa 125. Douglas County 127. The cameras 128. Goat grazing 127. Gold Ranch 126. Sullivan 126. Callahan Ranch 126. And the fuel disruption study 122.
And the spill LA, for the record, we're going to be putting them in the order of ranking. Spill LA, for the record, go ahead and read the ranking order, please.
Okay, so number 1 is Douglas County's, stormwater management project. Number 2 is the City of Sparks goat grazing. Number 3 is Truckee Meadows Gold Ranch. Number 4, Truckee Meadows by Sullivan. 5 is Truckee Meadows Callahan Ranch. 6 is the Moapa River, Muddy River Shield Project. Number 7 is the Nevada Seismological Laboratory multi-hazard cameras. Number 8, Truckee Meadows Slope Stabilization. Number 9, the Tri-County Plant HMP update. And number 10 is the Southern Nevada Fuel Analysis.
Janelle, do you mind if I jump in real quick, just since we have some new folks on the committee or the working group?
Yep, go ahead.
I just wanted to remind everyone that this ranked list is just that. It's a ranked list. It's the easiest way to get us a starting point for the discussion of what's going to be recommended to the chief. So I don't want anyone to think that this list has to stay as it is before you vote today. This is just a starting point, and now you have the opportunity to discuss, move things around, do whatever you want. And then before we're done, we're going to take a vote on the order that's going to be presented to the chief. So that's all I wanted to say. Just want to make sure everybody knows that we're not stuck with this list in the order that it is in. It's just a way to kind of get everybody's ideas together in a list for a starting point. Thank you.
And Janelle Woodward, for the record, I would just add to it as well, that we're doing this for transparency, and so that all of our committees who do work with grants do the same thing, looking at the projects, evaluating them, and then ranking them. In this case, every one of these projects are going to be funded because they fall within that amount of money, thanks to Truckee Meadows Fire. The other thing is, as far as funding order, the ranking doesn't have anything to do with that. FEMA will fund as the process is completed for the applications, as they review. If there's no RFIs, those, so a plan, some type of planning, or a 5% project would probably get funded before bigger projects that have to go through the environmental process. So this is just putting things in order, and then you guys talk about it and decide. So I'll turn it back to Bill.
So this is Bill Elliott for the record. Do we have any comments or questions about this process and the rankings that we have right now? Eric, go ahead.
Thanks, Bill. Eric Antel for the record. I have a comment. It's not in regards to the ranking, but it is to these proposals. So outside of the Southern Nevada fuel study and the Douglas County stormwater management, those are nuances. The others proposals are tied to wildfire risk. And I just want to report to the group some success that I identified within these proposals. All of them are tied to their community wildfire protection plan, as well as their hazard mitigation plan, which moving forward is really an alignment of one of the accomplishments long-term for successful grant funding with the federal partners as BLM and the Forest Service, as well as FEMA. So I know that Janelle has worked very closely with this group, and then with the Division of Forestry. So it's nice to report out to the group that we are seeing within these proposals the accomplishment through the communication that all of this work, or these pre-proposals, this request, is identified in multiple plans long-term, that has been engaged to the lowest level of the community, being the general public. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. This is Bill Elliott for the record. Do we have any more comments? Andrew?
That was Aaron.
Oh, Andrew, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I think all these are great projects, and it sounds like they're all going to get funded. So I don't know if I guess I'd recommend that we don't spend a lot of time rearranging the the order as long as all the projects are gonna get funded, so. Are we ready for a motion? Because I can make one. I can make a motion that we accept the projects in the order they're listed here and by ranking.
Andrew Terese, made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Who second?
Eric Antel.
Eric Antel, second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And abstentions? Okay. We have our rankings. Thank you so much for your time and effort on this. We will close out agenda item number 5 and go to agenda item 6, future mitigation funding for discussion only. Janelle.
Janelle Woodward for the record. This is pretty quick. We don't have a lot of information about what is going to be changing and moving going forward. We know the BRIC program was canceled, and we are still waiting to figure out which projects are going to be cut, maybe which ones will go forward. That type of thing is not available yet. So we don't know 100%. The ones we do know that won't be funded were ones that were still sitting in the environmental EHP process and had not been funded yet. So those will be canceled. That's the only grant that they've actually reached out about. I know that the NEHRP or the earthquake grant has been approved, and they're working on the NOFO right now, but we have no idea when that'll come out. All of the other post-disaster, one thing I did see was that in the future, HMGP will not be an automatic, here's your, X funding, and that it'll be looked at as any application that we put forward, where they review that and let us know what can be funded. I would just encourage you to wait for the information to come out. We all want to know right away, but it's coming out, little by little. So once our chief has that information, I'm sure that he will be sending that out over our listservs and to everybody, so that people know, and we will populate that information as soon as we know it. We'll send it out to everybody. So you'll probably get it, 3, 4, 5 times with all of our processes. And that's really all I can say about the future of mitigation funding right now. I don't know if Chief has anything different or additional to say about anything, or Bill. That's pretty much what we have. Is Chief still on there? No. Oh, Chief's not there. So I'll turn this back to Bill unless there's any questions or whatever.
Do we have any comments from Ms. Woodward? Yes, John Blackdahl.
Thanks, Bill. John, for the record. The only question I had was in regards to the email the chief did send out. It had projects with no construction, and then it proceeded to say that if your project hasn't started construction, that it would be considered for cancellation, but it was a no construction project. So it makes no sense at all when you're looking at a scoping project or a planning project to advance the future projects forward. So any additional insight or information that can be transferred to Brett, and then someone follow up on a non-construction project doesn't involve construction. So why did the rules have a construction tied to it?
So John, I did reach out, Janelle Woodward for the record. I did reach out to FEMA asking them, well, actually I went through Chris, our fit person, and he made sure that we got a response on it. And the answer was that they pushed it up to the next level up. I don't know if that meant headquarters or a local, regional leadership. But we wanted clarification on, because really they've only talked about construction. They haven't talked about planning. So as soon as we hear something, we'll be sure to get that out to everybody. Unless you want to comment.
Thank you. We have another comment from John McKintosh.
Yeah, thank you, John McIntyre, checking those for the record. Just going back to the Sullivan project, Janelle, do we have to rewrite that grant application to reduce that $70,000 approximately?
I will get with you guys. What will need to happen is we'll redo the budget. I'm not sure if there's information that needs to be changed in the application itself, but we will lower your budget and make sure that everything that's needed will get into the application.
Okay, yeah, just let me know. We got training the rest of this week and most of next week, so I'll be out of the office.
Okay, I'll get with you though.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other hands up, so we'll close out agenda item number 6 and we'll go to agenda item 7, and this is public comment for discussion only. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the chair. Comments will not be restricted based on viewpoint. To provide testimony during this period of public comment via telephone, please call at any time after 9:30 a.m. on the day of the meeting by dialing 669-219-2599. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, please enter 202-331-8963 and then press pound. When prompted for participant ID, please press pound. When asked to provide public comment, please press *6 to unmute your phone and *6 again when your comments are complete. Please be advised that the YouTube stream will be between 60 and 90 seconds behind the live meeting. If you would like to present public comment, please call in using the above number to hear the meeting live. Do we have any public comment here in Carson City? Seeing none. How about online? Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. I'm going to close out agenda item number 7 and go to our favorite agenda item number 8, adjournment. Do I have a
Andrew Trelease, I'll make a motion to adjourn, and go Knights go.
Thank you, Andrew. Do we have a second?
Martin, second.
Salome, thank you very much. All approved? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any dissensions? Okay, the motion carries and we are